Welcome to Own It, Your Business in Your Life, with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show. Morning, how are you?
Morning, caller.
Yes, Shoreham. I'm in Shoreham today.
Yes, lovely, good. How does it feel to be home?
It feels rainy and grey. That's how it feels, looking out my window.
It's not raining here yet. It is overcast and going to be all day, I think. But you must admit, you said to me about 2 or 3 weeks ago from Stupor, I hear you've been having a heat wave. And I went, heat wave? I wouldn't call it a heat wave. This last week has been a heat wave.
Yeah, I've been a sweaty mess in Chipping Norton.
Yes, gorgeous. Well, I mean, you know, that's almost too, we can just feel that. It's just grim. Thanks for that image, by the way.
Well, the jet lag did terrible things to me. I was just really...
You don't know what you expected. Honestly, 9 hours time difference is around 9 days.
I know, but I managed 6 hours last night, so I went from 11 till 5, and I actually feel much more human today because yesterday I woke up at 2:30 a.m. and couldn't get back to sleep at all.
Well, I've been reading you and listening to you on our own podcasts and on Facebook for the last fortnight about your outward trip and your return trip, and you keep saying things like, "Oh, I slept so much," and then I look and I think, why is she sending me messages at 03:45? You haven't slept nearly enough to be honest.
I know, but it was worth it. It was so worth it, Judith. I can't tell you. It was awesome. I had a fantastic time. I had a real laugh with Neil, and we're planning a European one soon. It was great to hang out with Matt Duggan as well. We had a lovely dinner out one night, and I smashed it, basically. 31% of the room signed up to My Be Everywhere Online.
I saw that. Brilliant. Well done. And Matt Duggan's such a nice man. Last time we saw him, sadly, at Steve's funeral.
Yes, very true. And I was very, thankful that he came. It was lovely.
Yeah.
But we had a great time. The room, Aussie entrepreneurs, they're such a laugh. They really are. They're really very characterful, shall we say.
All men or mainly men?
No, very much a 50-50 crowd.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. So what about your week then? What have you been up to?
Oh, I've had a lovely week. It's actually been 9 days, hasn't it? Because it was Thursday last week and today's Saturday. Well, I've enjoyed the weather, al fresco living, surprise party. One of my favourite human beings who didn't know he was coming to my house on his birthday.
Oh,
it was
lovely.
Great. And the last 2 weeks I've been saying, what's exciting is I've got a diary full of all these new clients. Well, I've been talking to all of those new clients all around the world, meeting new people. I've had a lovely week, actually, since we've spoken last. 9 days. I've had a lovely 9 days.
No, marvellous. Well, I went to Chipping Norton, as you know, to spend a dinner and a day with, which is what my VIP days have turned into, dinner and a day.
Oh, it was a nice alliteration, isn't it? Dinner and a day.
Yeah, it was nice. And luckily I was pulled enough together from the, from all the jet lag on the day. I was on form. So, that was pretty good. And we had a fantastic day because, Jane's putting together a whole new business based on all of the things she's passionate about. And she came up with an amazing name for it. And it was just great. She's got a 2-page business plan that she can follow for the next year. She knows exactly what her to-do items are over the next 30 days, 90 days and 1 year. And it was just brilliant. I so enjoy these days. I've run 2 this month and I've really enjoyed them.
Good.
So what has fueled your fire this week?
Well, funnily enough, almost exactly the same thing as I was just going to smart-arsely comment there about your dinner and a day with Jane in Chipping Norton. I was going to say, well, she's such a loyal, long-term, intelligent client. And Actually, what's fueled my fire says here, longevity of clients, loyalty and rapport. And I've worked out that in my small business, Big Magic, my current clients have been with me anything up to 3.5 years. And in Club 100, they've been with me anything up to 5 years. And clearly they think of it as essential rapport and support. And I think, as I've said this before here, as the relationship deepens and they keep me on side as an ally, they get better results. And actually all of that applies to your relationship with Jane.
It does, absolutely, because we've talked many times, long time over the years, and It was nice. It was good to have the dinner though, because what I do with that is I let them go blur and tell me everything about themselves. And Jane, obviously I haven't seen her for a while, so she told me everything she's been up to, and actually she's in an amazing position, and she very generously credits it to some advice I gave her, which obviously you would have given the same advice, all about property and money, and it set her free financially eventually. It was just incredible to hear that, and really gratifying, and and she was, because I know her so well, she was able to shortcut a lot of the personality things which she possibly wouldn't have thought to tell me, but which I knew about her, so when we were putting the plans together, I was able to say, well, that won't work, obviously that's not going to get done unless you've got a VA kind of thing. So knowing her personality quirks, and she's an alchemist sage, Judith, in archetype terms.
Yawn. You know how I feel about archetypes.
Oh, right, yeah. Even though you're a sage, I thought you might be mildly interested.
Not really, though.
No.
but tell me what's fueled your fire.
Well, I mean, basically, talking to a brand new market. I mean, all of the people in that room were Amazon or eBay entrepreneurs, and they were all very down-to-earth, real-life businessy types who've been drawn to selling physical products. Because I think people can wrap their head around, practical businessy types can wrap their heads around the whole concept of selling physical products, retailing online. And it was nice to be not in an IM crowd, where it's all about information marketing, and you often get a lot of newbies who haven't really got a clue. These people were clued up business people. And not only did it go really well on the day, but Neil and I have been invited to go and speak to 250 Chamber of Commerce members. And Neil's been invited to speak at a big conference, and another lady is in charge of millions of investment money through an incubator she runs, and she wants me to go and speak about marketing to them as well. So,
and where are those people?
Oh, all in Australia.
Oh, God. So you've got to go back to Australia?
I go back in a heartbeat, Judith. Now I'm over it.
God.
Well, if I would make it a longer trip this time. I would definitely have an extra week. I could have gone down to the Gold Coast and had a lovely time, but when I booked it originally, it was back in March, and I wasn't feeling so great still then. So I was very hesitant to stay on in case I was miserable. So
you want an extra 10. You want 5 days in advance so that you're feeling great by the time you're on stage.
Yeah,
and 10 days afterwards so that you can include your week in the Gold Coast and 3 days to come back. I mean, it takes it out of you. You've got to realise that. Well, not you, one has got to realise that. Yeah,
I think so. And you've got to design your environment to support yourself, haven't you?
Well, it's taken some managing, Nicola, not least for the podcast. I mean, least for the podcast, but it's taken some managing, hasn't it? So, there's the run up to, there's the travel to, there's the delivery of, there's the comeback, there's the adjustment back. It's 3 weeks to be there.
And also,
4 days.
It totally made me realise that I'm still doing too much on the V-zine. I'm doing little bits and pieces of admin that really I shouldn't be, because some of the times it was a challenge because I couldn't, I wasn't in a place to download stuff because the internet Wi-Fi isn't good enough, or the broadband at the Airbnb was fine, but the broadband at the hotel was fine. But you were never in one place long enough to be able to download video or upload video, because it takes longer than anything else. And so I really realised I've got to get my act together in terms of, offloading some of the tasks on that. But interestingly enough, there is the potential, and in fact, the VIP days have really shown me that there's a potential for, I hate to say it, a brand new business. Well, a product. Let's call it a product, because people are definitely...
Yes, let's call it a product, because that's the only way you're going to get it past me.
Yeah, exactly. It's a brand new product. So not only have I got the Be Everywhere online training course and the membership, but I think there's a room in the market for a Be Everywhere online done for you service. And the good news about that is that I wouldn't have to get involved in the doing of, because I would literally just do the training and the coaching in the membership, and then it is a totally outsourceable process. But I know that from the VIP clients' reactions, at the end of the day, if I'd have just said, look, would you like me to take care of it for you? They probably would have said yes. So I think there's definitely something there that can be done.
Not every opportunity needs to be exploited, of course.
No, I know that, but it is hard, isn't it? Especially when it's a product that would really help your clients.
Well, work that product up, sell it to somebody else, and get them to pay you a percentage of it.
Sorry, say again?
Work the product up as a concept, sell the idea to somebody else who does it, and make them pay you a percentage of it. Don't try and do that yourself. To be honest, Nicola, you're not great at fulfillment. You're better at inspiration and teaching.
I know that. Well, that's why I was thinking I would have to get someone else involved to do the actual project.
Yeah, no, just work it up as an idea and sell it.
Well, who would buy an idea like that?
Well, anybody that wants to work under your tutelage for a bit.
Oh, that's an idea. I hadn't really thought about it, really, like that.
No.
I suppose because I'm just a naturally suspicious person that I wouldn't get my royalties. But I suppose that's...
There's ways of policing that, which we'll talk about.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I like your idea a lot, Judith.
Thank you. Now, I'm going to just tantalise you with something. One of the... I'm not going to tell you any names.
Yeah.
But one of the August guests I've got for you standing in for me on the podcast is the female half of a nomadic couple, and her husband has a successful Amazon business.
Oh, very good.
In the UK.
Well, that's even better. I'm really fired up about Amazon businesses, but I just can't wrap my head around the details. So I've said to Neil, if you've got anyone who would like to be in partnership with me to do the long-handled spider catcher. Do you know about that product?
Yes.
You don't sound keen on that one either.
I think you can buy them. Oh, yes, anyway. Whatever.
No, you can't.
Again, another distraction. Why don't you just do your thing?
I know. It's Neil. I blame Neil. And he's blaming me, actually, because he watched my presentation and it reminded him of all the things he should be doing in his business as well. So he said his to-do list has increased incrementally.
Or his to outsource list, because he can work with people.
He's busy recruiting people on Upwork as we speak. A word from our sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by clicksandleads.com. Clicksandleads.com believe in affordable traffic and leads for everyone. They'll set up your Facebook ad campaign, page likes, leads or remarketing, then they'll manage it for you. They'll even split test your ads and audiences to find the best performing ones. Game-changing marketing from clicksandleads.com. Yes, so should we move on to Client Challenge of the Week?
Yes, I'm ready, and I've got your notes in advance, but I'd like you to précis it for the benefit of the listener, please.
You want me to précis it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. I've got a client who is a very talented teacher of what she does. She's a singing teacher. I don't think that's giving too much away. And she has the potential to go global with a singing membership site. She's got lots of stuff that could be delivered really, really well online, but she's got some existing clients. Now, they range from people who come to her for half an hour once a month through to people who have weekly lessons. And a lot of them are getting those lessons at a very low rate indeed, because they've been with her for years. Now, she was all fired up, and I said the first thing to do, she's also got children and a sick husband. So she is the sole breadwinner in the family, and also she is trying to run everything, and she's very frazzled and overworked. So the first thing to do, in order for her to fulfill her potential, is to corral her one-to-one clients into less time, because at the moment they've all got appointments dotted all over the week. Some of them in the evening, some are on Saturday mornings, and she just simply is too scattered in terms of her time management. So she's now contacted those people and told them about the forthcoming membership site, and it is actually a good deal for them, because for less than they're paying now, they would get a lot more, but they're pushing back. So basically, should we read out some of the stuff that she said?
Or if you could just give the gist, that would be good.
Yeah, okay. My question is around making changes in a business that customers don't like, but you, the business owner, believe are right for the future growth of the business. The context is changing from working on an 80-20 one-to-one, with the 20% being the growth of the other businesses, which offer more financial rewards. The issues with letting go of one-to-one, because what you were giving was too low priced in the originally for your expertise, but not the area you work in. So it's traditionally an area she works in that is everyone undercharges. So she's not alone in that. So she's receiving a 60-40 backlash from current clients who say they don't want to use an online platform or participate in any groups. Then she says, do I have to accept that I could lose the vast majority of my clients in the changing the business model? Or is there a way to soften the blow and take a few with me by better explaining or selling the benefits? When do we listen to our customers' feedback, and when do we press on regardless because we're trying to build something bigger or different? Yeah, their concerns apparently are around, one second. Their concerns from them have been around not wanting to be in a group to learn singing or to have to sing in front of others. 2, I won't use the resources, I can just Google the info. 2, I'm an advanced singer and don't want to waste my time being in a group with beginners. So the issue is that she either needs to put her prices up for one-to-one stuff. She also needs to corral them into less days so that, they're not all scattered out throughout the week. But she's worried that if she insists on any of these things, she's going to lose a lot.
Okay, what do you think?
Well, I think she's got to go ahead with the corralling them into less days and times because, they really are ridiculously spread out. And we know that you only get into flow with work if you can give it a good chunk of time. And she's not able to do that. What with, school commitments and husband commitments and, just running her life commitments is just too much for her all at the moment. Mm. So what I'd be doing is I'd be looking at the less profitable ones, the ones who are not paying so much because they've been around forever. She feels bad, by the way, because she has got some lovely clients who've been around forever. But, perhaps they're having half an hour once a month in a time that really is eating into her home time.
Yeah.
So I'd be. That's the first thing I'd be starting with, trying to corral them into less days and hours. And then I'd be looking at the ones that I would certainly be looking at the ones who are not likely to move over into the group and just resign myself to losing them. But I would then be marketing like buggery to fill up the new membership site. But she feels unable to market like buggery because she's just so scattered and tired and not.
And in an ideal world, would you like her to clear up, say, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday between 10 and 5?
Yeah, I don't mind what days there. I wouldn't mind what days there.
But would 3 days be enough, is my question. 2 days, 3 days? What?
3 days. 2 or 3 days would be more than enough to give us.
Okay. So do you think that she could persuade the existing clients to fit into?
Most of them. I think she could probably persuade most of them.
Okay.
So how would you come at it?
Well, she says here, do I have to accept I could lose the vast majority of my clients in the changing business model? Or is there a way to soften the blow and take a few with me by better explaining or selling the benefits? When do we listen to our customers' feedback? And when do we press on regardless because people are trying to build something bigger or better? I don't think it's an either or. I think you need a transition. And first of all, we need to talk about change. Samuel Johnson said, all change is of itself an evil, which ought not to be hazarded, but for evident advantage. And there is evident advantage here for your client, but there is no evident advantage here for her existing clients. If I were one of her existing clients, I wouldn't want to move from being tutored by her one-to-one to a membership club either. Yeah, when I sold my accountancy business, my staff didn't like it and the clients weren't all that keen. When my optician sold his business, I still haven't got over it. When Sage and Facebook make changes, I don't like it. When Anne French stopped producing my favourite unfragranced cleansing milk in the 90s, I still miss it. Nobody likes change. So if this were my business, this is what I would be doing. I would be marketing like buggery, as you said, on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesdays, or whatever days she can corral. And I would be inviting all new clients forever to come into this online singing lesson platform. And when my income from that matched my income from my other clients, I would offer them when they've got no choice. I would offer them one of that.
An ultimatum.
Yes, an ultimatum. And then the choice is theirs. And the loss is nothing. But now, going back to the point I made earlier about the clients who were with me in the Small Business Big Magic for up to 3.5 years and Club 100 for 5 years, if I change my life plans, it won't ever affect them because once I'm in relationship with a client, I see it through. So I think she could pick off some of these half-an-hour ones, but I'd be doing exactly what I did when I transitioned from being a freelance accountant after I'd sold my business to being a coach, which was you work 6 days a week for a bit. I realised that's harder for her than it is for me because she's got children and a poorly husband. But you somehow manage to do the two side by side. And the corralling is, you're absolutely right, corralling's it. I used to go out to work on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and I did Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays at home. Okay, that's 6 days a week. It's a lot. But what I did was I built up my income in my coaching business to match my accounting, and then I could let that go. And when I let that go, obviously it halved my income because I've got dual incomes. But once she's protected her income and she's the main breadwinner and built up her new income to match it, or to a place where she can pick off these half-hour people or the annoying ones or whatever. But I think once you're in a relationship with clients, you can't change it for them. You've got to offer it for the new, and then when you get to a place where you're financially confident, then you can do the ultimatum if you want to, or tell them that you're changing, and it won't worry you that you're losing the income. So it isn't an either or. You've got to have a transition plan, a bit like Brexit. We've got to have a transition plan.
Now, the interesting thing about this, which is the bit you don't know, which I've just remembered, is that this lady has sadly lost a parent recently, and she has come into a bit of money. So theoretically, she could invest some of that money into her business to replace the income from the intransigent clients.
Yeah, she wouldn't be investing it. She'd be living off her inheritance instead of creating income from the annoying clients.
Oh, right, okay.
However, I'd like you to explain more to me about the new business model, because I'm not sure singing is something I would want to learn online.
Yeah, because you are a bit of a singer, aren't you?
I'm a singer, yes. So
yes.
Talk to me about the new business model. I can see people are teaching singing and piano and all sorts of musical things online.
Yeah, well, she's a singing coach, so it's not just that. It's not that she's teaching people singing from scratch. She's basically coaching people not just about singing, about performance. She's been very successful in her time herself, and so it's about performance, confidence, about how to deal with agents, how to cope with auditions. So it's a full 12-month course on all of the aspects of being a performer.
Oh, now that's very nice. And it's not the same thing as she's currently selling. Singing lessons is completely different. Okay. All right. Now, let's go back to the IM angles of this. Is she a person suited to sitting down on the bottom at her computer 3 days a week solid to build this new business online?
No, she's going to be outsourcing the techie bits. Because she's
the marketing, about being everywhere online, can she do that?
Yeah, she's a performer, so standing up in front of camera holds no terrors for her whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's got the content because obviously she's got her course content.
And actually, if she loses the current clients eventually or now or overnight because of the inheritance, she's not bothered, is she?
Well, that's the interesting thing. She is bothered about losing them, obviously, and it was only just literally a minute ago that I remembered about the fact that she has a financial cushion, but she's obviously feeling that she doesn't want to use it, or that she's feeling scared at the idea of losing her existing income before she's replaced it with the new income.
Yeah, and I'm with her. I think she should try and find a way to build up the new. So at least a level where she's less scared, even if it doesn't match exactly, if it was half of it or 3/4 of it, it would make her feel confident about abandoning the others. Although as a singing teacher, clients come and go, are you saying that quite a lot of hers have been with her for a very long time? Yes.
So there's a little element of guilt there that she doesn't really want to let them down.
Well, I wouldn't worry about the guilt, but those people are never going to be ideal. They're not going to be members of her online site, are they? Because they want to come to her for one-to-one singing lessons. They don't want all of this stuff that you've just packaged up for an online thing.
Yeah.
So it's chalk and cheese, isn't it? And eventually the chalky business can go when the cheesy business has been built up.
Yeah, and then it's interesting, isn't it? Because what we've got here is a swirling mass of emotion, which is stopping her moving forward with her plans. But actually, when you look at it baldly in the cold light of day and you're not emotionally involved, it's obvious that she either has to work harder to fulfill her existing commitments and build her business, or she has to lose her existing clients, so the ones who won't move into a more convenient time slot, so she's got more time to work on her business. Or she's just got to bite the bullet and get rid of all the ones who won't move over and just get cracking.
Or use some of the inheritance to buy some expertise, which means that the online thing is more likely to work and more likely to work faster.
Yeah, I don't think that's the issue. I think she'll, doing that bit will be fine. I think she's quite happy to invest in support. What she's finding is that she's not creating her marketing content, i.e. the videos that would, go out into the world and let her be everywhere online, because she's psychologically feeling harried and harassed and not like she's got enough time to do them. I mean, I know.
And that's all I deal with all day long with all of my clients all of the time.
Yes,
because they're all mothers with children and parents and husbands or any of the above, and it's all emotions. That's what my genius idea was yesterday for writing the book. It's dealing with that emotional stuff.
Yeah, because that's the stuff that stops people succeeding as an entrepreneur. I know.
Yeah, because actually making all her videos is quite easy if only she didn't have all of this sort of emotion. Now, let me ask a quick question here. How much is the membership site going to cost?
I think I don't know is the answer. It'll be under $100.
$100 a what?
A month.
And is it a continuity program with a beginning, a middle and an end?
Yes, it's a one year program, and then they'll be able to stay on afterwards if they want to carry on.
So there's a minimum commitment of $1,200.
Well, I think it's probably going to be less than that. Let's say $600.
$600, and you priced it in dollars because that's the currency of the web, and yet will Americans be buying from a British singing teacher?
Well, they will if they're convinced enough about her expertise and she's got enough of testimonials.
Okay, and how many clients paying her $600 does she need to match existing income?
I don't know is the answer, but she needs to do that sum, doesn't she?
I know she's going to be listening to us, and I want her to do that sum. If she wants to PM me to tell me that sum, I think that's a vital sum, because then we'll know, how. If she got 6 members, would that match it? If she got a dozen members, would that match it? Then I go hell for leather to get my first dozen members.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. And she just needs to carve out the time, doesn't she?
Yeah, it's not an either or. It's not a do I have to accept that I'll be losing an or. It's a transition, and it's build up the new and then lose the old. And I don't like change. Nobody likes change. That's a fact of life. So I would always bring in any change as only impacting new clients. And then there's attrition with the old. And if some of them won't go in the end, you can give them a nudge off the cliff.
Yeah. I think the other thing, is to... around the fact that when you're suddenly a bit more affluent than you have been hitherto, it takes a while for your feelings to catch up, doesn't it? You still feel cash strapped, even though you.
I think that's a very good point. And actually, I wouldn't want to squander my inheritance because I'm going to get one. No. Yeah. So I would be cautious with it. If it could be invested to produce an income that would help me rather than spending the capital, I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, I think she's doing quite a lot of that as well.
All right, there's another point I wanted to make here, but I've forgotten what it is. Yes, loyalty to existing clients. I think, how long have they been providing her income?
Well, I don't know. I mean, some of them have been newer and some of them have been around for a few years.
Yeah, and I think they deserve something in return, which is plenty of notice of her intention. If they've been good, loyal, paying clients, you can't just trash them. You could if something serious happened, but if you're just transitioning for your own convenience, I think you've got to honour your side of the deal with existing clients. You'll remember that in the last year of the Money Gym, I made you work for 12 months to meet our commitments to our last few clients going through the system.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we worked for 12 months to close things honourably and professionally.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we should all aim for. Now, if you can't, because something life-altering happens, you can't. But I do think that's where you start.
Yeah, and also if she's going to keep some clients who she feels that she should do that, then she's obviously going to put them into the environment so that even if they don't use it, they're going to get it for free. I think essentially for a certain amount of time. And
I'm not sure they want that. I don't think you want that. If you're coming around to her house and having her individual attention and you've had it for ages and you love it, I don't think you'll want this online.
But equally, the client has to be a bit flexible and realise that if they're coming around to her house at 8 o'clock on a Thursday evening, then really they've got...
The client doesn't have to do anything at all. You can invite the client to fall in with your domestic changes, but the client doesn't have to do anything.
No, so what you're saying is she must realise that even if she invites the client to change her singing time to a time that's more conducive for her, either, privately or business wise, then she is going to run the risk that they're going to say no.
Yeah, and I might rank them in order of importance to me. So, for instance, amongst my client base, I have people I would want to look after forever because they're just terribly important to me. But, I think I'm not saying this lady has to do that, but I think I'd probably write down a list of my clients' names, how much they're worth to me, how much I enjoy working with them, how much notice I need to give them of my of moving the appointment, from the beginning of September term. Let me give it in term, I don't know. I'm only going to be teaching during these hours. Is there a way we can make that work? And then the second attack later on is, I'm stopping teaching one-to-one from such and such date. But you've got to give people plenty of notice and respect that they've been paying clients of yours, turning up and giving you money for a while. Yeah,
totally. You have to do it in a way, yes, you have to do it in a way that you feel good about.
Yeah, you've got to look after your client's interest because it's been a mutual thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. Well, hopefully people listening to this can extrapolate enough practical action steps out of what we're advising this lady to do if they're in a similar position.
Yes, and I think all of us are from time to time.
Yes, I've certainly been through this.
I think I'm advocating being professional to the existing relationships you have. If you can't, then you can't.
Yeah. Yes, good stuff. Okay, that's a good one.
Good.
What about your word of the week?
I'm going for pootling.
Sorry?
Pootling.
Pootling?
Yes. Do you not know pootling?
I do know pootling.
Yes. It's to move or travel in a leisurely manner. And I often use it I'm pootling around the house and I'm doing self-care. And one of my clients who is a wordsmith used the word to me, pootling, on Monday. And I said, nice word, I like pootling. And we were talking about it in the self-care context. But then I noticed later in the week, she lives on a canal barge and they'd taken the barge out and they don't manage to get the barge out a lot. But of course, a canal barge can only pootle because it can only move in a leisurely manner. And in this heat, all of us should have been pootling really, rather than rushing.
Yeah, absolutely. God, it was hot, wasn't it?
Well, I was on light duties. I only did about 50% of everything every day because you're just going half the speed, aren't you?
Well, I'm going back to Greece on the 1st of July, and it's going to be super hot in July and August, and I will practice the ancient art of pootling.
Yes. What's your word?
My word is transformation. And it's a word that's been, well, in fact, we're talking about a client transforming their business there, aren't we? From one to the other. And it's like metamorphosizing from a caterpillar to a butterfly. The client I did the VIP day was all about transformation for women. And I feel like I've been transformed recently again. Because, I'm starting to feel so much better and I'm starting to get out more and I've got lots of non-black clothes. Don't die of shock. Light linen. And so that's it, transformation. It's a wonderful thing.
Okay, transformation is a wonderful thing.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 8 nines are.
What are they? 8 nines?
Yes.
8 8 is
6. Yeah.
72. Yeah.
3, 74, 75, 76. Right, we're still in the same place.
Mm.
Let's go and have a look at our spikes. I'm still very bullish about.
Podcasting, me too.
Yeah, very much. Oh yes, it's all.
Oh, brilliant! So, gentle listener, we're looking at a nice graph, I suppose you'd call that, with spikes which look like the spikes look like the turrets on a Disney castle. I always think.
They do, yeah. And each episode is getting a really good spike. And look at this one; it's had a good spike, and then it's had 1, 2, 3, 4 solid download days.
Yes, nice.
So that's the 3-month average, which is now on it's sort of level, isn't it?
Yeah.
1 month average. Oh, that's not good.
No, that's not good. No.
And neither's a 10-day. But
no.
I wonder why it's like that. Anyway, we won't obsess about these numbers too much.
I think we might need to up our game and change the format in September because I think we're getting a bit dull and lazy of late.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm very up for that. So we'll see what we have the new guests as well.
Yeah.
And then well, let's talk about changing the format. We
Okay.
could even have the odd interview, couldn't we?
I don't want interviews on this one because there's two of us. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to talk about...
I just think different categories. I think that we're getting fired, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'll think about it when I'm off in August.
Okay, cool. Who or what's impressed?
You go first.
I've been introduced, I don't know if I've mentioned him before, but I've been introduced by Kate Cocker, who is the lady I met on the Greek beach in the radio in Manchester, to a young chap called Steve Bartlett. And he is 24 years old, dropped out from school, expelled from college, etc., etc. And he has, in the last 2 years, built a multi-million media agency, which is all based around millennials, marketing to millennials. And how he seems to have done it was he seems to have gone around and hoovered up anyone who's got a really big Facebook page catering for students. So anyone who's got a page for a particular university, anyone's got a page at all that's anything to do with students. And he now has very, very big brands paying them to do the marketing to the millennials through Facebook pages. And I'm particularly impressed by him. I went and watched his TED Talk. If you go and have a look for Steve Bartlett TEDx Talk, he's got a particularly unique way of thinking that I'm very drawn to. He says something interesting about solving problems. He says, when I've got a problem, I examine the evidence and I look at what I know to be fundamentally true. And then I form my solutions to my problems based on fundamental truths. So he's got at 24, he's got a massive emotional intelligence. He's very insightful into himself and what makes him tick. And he's very good at solving problems in a really seriously creative way using his fundamental truth principles. And he does a daily vlog, and I'm, having finished Casey Neistat's vlogs, I'm still watching Gary V's, but this has been filling in the long nights where I haven't been able to sleep. But I recommend him to you as a very highly creative young man with an interesting thought process.
Did you say there's a daily blog?
Yeah, his YouTube channel is called Everyday Steve.
So it's not a daily blog, it's a daily vlog.
Yeah, a daily vlog, yeah.
Not my cup of tea at all, no. But I do love a boy who's been expelled, and I love dropouts as well. Yeah,
well, he said he sat in his first, he got into Manchester University, and he sat in his first lecture for, business studies or whatever it was, and he realised that if he wanted to be an entrepreneur, which he had been all his life, buying and selling, he realised that sitting at university for 3 years wasn't the way to do it. He better get out there and start doing it.
Quite right.
Yeah, and within 24 months, he's got this incredible growing business. He's been featured in all the newspapers, and really inspirational young man.
Well, by a strange quirk of fate that happens on these things quite a lot, I'm going to tell you about a very similar person.
Go on then.
You'll probably remember this, I think you will. In February 2012, I was invited by a man called Action Jackson to go and speak to a group of people in Holloway in North London called Bold Achievers. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Yeah. And I met a young man there called Junior Ogunyemi, who had already published a book called How to Be a Student Entrepreneur.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, he turned up in my diary last week. He was one of the 6 that had booked themselves in. And it was between his wedding and his honeymoon. Not in the half an hour that we do it, but he'd got a week between his wedding and his honeymoon. So he was speaking to me in that week. I mean, there you go. That gives you a clue, doesn't it? But on the back of that How to Be a Student Entrepreneur book, he's leveraged it into a London-based entrepreneur academy and network. They have speakers, including James Caan. They have boot camps. He offers coaching.
Wow.
And he does selling from the stage. They do events. He hasn't made a huge amount of money yet, but he's a young man and they've been working hard. They've made turnover, but they've spent it all. And so we were looking at how to make it more profitable. Of course, now he's got married. He'll want to have a life as well, so he's got to work smart. But how interesting we should both pick student entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always inspired by young entrepreneurs, people who they're fearless, creative. They don't have all the baggage that older people seem to have, that accretes during the years. That's a good word, isn't it?
That's not a bad word, yes.
I thought you'd like that one.
Mm.
And it just is, they are fearless, aren't they? But that's amazing that he's done all that. That's incredible.
Yeah, I know.
How old is he?
I don't know. In his 20s.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Young then.
Yes, young. Yeah.
By our standards. Now, I find it very invigorating to be around energetic, exciting young people.
That's interesting as well from my marketing perspective, which is we met in 2012 and I can't remember what we did together in 2012, but we certainly were, I think he might have written a blog post to me or me for him or some social media. But he gets the newsletter and he's read it for 5 years and come back and now he's in my diary.
Yeah. So obviously what you do to stay in people's minds works. Completely. And the other thing about being around young people, and I think if anyone's got teenagers, pay close attention because it gives you a real jump on what's coming down the pipe 5 years' time. It really does. Are you wrapping your Christmas presents there?
No.
A sort of noise like sellotape being ripped.
Oh, no, not me. Must be on the line somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, that's us then. So yes. Next week I'll be in Paris. I think.
That's good. Well, why are you going to Paris? I know you're going with your singing sister. Well, why are you going?
Arrives for 3 weeks. She's doing some Steve Reich and Sadler's Wells ballet combo. And
okay.
She's not dancing, obviously. She's singing.
No, yeah.
She's got an apartment in Paris. She doesn't know if there's any accommodation that I can stay in yet. But she's getting there today, and she's going to let me know. If there isn't anything I can stay in, then I might go back to the Souvlaki shop flat.
Okay, and you'll let me know when you know, because of course you'll be an hour ahead of me in Paris.
Yeah, I will. Yeah. I'll let you know as soon as I know today.
All right.
Okay, brilliant.
See you then. Yep. Bye.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. The podcast is called Own It, Your Business and Your Life. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.